How to prepare for a day hike. So a day hike meaning you're not going camping, you're just gonna, spend the day hiking and come back. So a lot of people don't do as much preparation as they should when they go out hiking, and that could be a big mistake, especially if you're a beginner hiker or a beginner camper, that sort of thing. You're kind of new to the wilderness. So this video will act as a guide to kind of help you prepare and know what to have with you and what to expect when you're out hiking. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is to have a nice hiking pack with you, a nice day pack, which is typically smaller than your average kind of overnight backpack. It shouldn't be too large. You shouldn't be lugging around a massive backpack that's larger than yourself. Just go with something small that can hold all the things, all the essentials that you need for spending the day hiking. And this applies no matter where you're hiking, if you're in Death Valley or in Canada or in Florida, no matter where you are, having kind of a base set of hiking essentials with you will go a long way. Now, besides having a good durable pack, preferably that's water resistant, then you have to think about what goes in the pack. So obviously the two main and most important things are food and water. A lot of people, more people than I expected, go hiking without water, and that is a massive mistake. If you go hiking without water, you will quickly become dehydrated. Even if it's, a cool breezy day, you're still going to get dehydrated because hiking is a vigorous, intensive exercise, and you will lose quite a bit of water through sweating and evaporation and things like that. So it's always good to have some sort of liquid with you. It doesn't have to be plain water, it could be some sort of electrolyte mixture, but having some liquid with you is very important so you don't dehydrate and then have some serious problems on the trail. And then the type of food that you bring with you will also depend. A lot of hikers bring dried meals, dried snacks like jerky or fruit or nuts. And all those are really high protein, high calorie, and they'll definitely help you maintain your energy levels as you're out hiking. Usually, whole dehydrated meals are not necessary if you're just going for a little day hike. You're not going to have a big meal just for a little hike. I mean, at least not usually. So it's usually better to bring just some smaller, simpler snacks, just out of the sake of convenience. Now, besides the food and water, you also want to make sure that your shoes are in good shape. A lot of people either go overboard or underboard with their footwear when they're out hiking. If you're taking just a simple day hike, there's nothing too rigorous. You don't need a pair of massive hiking boots, heavy, bulky hiking boots. Those are for alpine, you're going into the snow sort of things. But you also don't want to go in sandals either. So just a good sturdy pair of hiking shoes will deliver you to where you need to go. And it's also a really good idea to make sure those shoes are broken in before you go on any real hikes, otherwise you're going to get some serious blisters. Then of course it's important to bring a few emergency items. You probably won't use these, but it's always good to just have them in case. One important one is a small first aid kit to bring with you. Just something small with some bandages, some disinfectant, antiseptic, that's just the basics. So in case you're hiking alone and you get a terrible scratch, like you fall on a sharp rock or something, you don't have to freak out because you'll have a first aid kit with you and you'll be able to take care of whatever injury you manage to get. It's also important in the unlikely but possible case that you get lost. This probably won't happen as long as you stay on the trail, but some people do not stay on the trail and they get lost. But being extra prepared in case that happens is always a good idea, which is also why it's important to keep a compass with you. Compasses are very small these days. You could just keep a small one to have your bearings, make sure you know where you are, and also prevent you from getting lost. This is especially important if you are backcountry camping, which I do not recommend for beginners. Stay on the trail if you're a beginner, but if you're more advanced, and you start backcountry camping and hiking, then, definitely bring a compass with you. And lastly, another important thing to bring with you is some sort of multi-tool. The Swiss Army knife is kind of the first go-to option that most people go for, and it is very reliable. It has all the tools. It has a knife, most importantly. You could use knives for quite a lot of things when you're out in the wild, starting a fire, cutting ropes, things like that. So always make sure you have some sort of multi-tool with you. It doesn't have to be anything big or crazy, just something small enough to put in your pocket and be there when you need it, so it's just convenient and you're not caught off guard by anything and you're completely prepared. But those are pretty much my main tips for preparing for a day hike. Now, one extra kind of bonus tip I have is obviously make sure you're in good shape. If you're gonna go on an 8-mile hike or something, or a 4-mile hike, any type of hike, make sure you're in at least a little bit of good shape. Make sure you stretch, otherwise you might, tear a muscle, tear a tendon, and ruin your entire hike. So just make sure you're in good shape and you're limber before you go on any hikes, especially longer hikes. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, then of course leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make a few videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.